I have entered the Topkapı Palace, and this is the second gate of the Topkapı Palace, and I'll be entering there. I will be discussing the other part. That was the first Byzantine period building, which later. So this is the entrance of the Topkapi. This is known Topkapi Castle, the second entrance, and it's known as Salutation, the entrance. Here, the Sultan, who was the only person who could enter through the house, but the rest had to walk through. So this is it. On top of it is written La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. It means that God is one and Muhammad is his prophet. Underneath is the signature of the Sultan. The other two of the Ottoman Empire Sultan, and the rest are the two links. So now we are entering it there. We are in the second courtyard of the Topkapi Palace, and here is the model of the Topkapi Palace, and we are exactly standing here on the top. If you look at here, that is where we are standing, and that's this is the entrance where there's the Byzantine church, which was the oldest made during the Byzantine period. It still remains there. The sultans never converted the church into a mosque or anything, kept it as it is, but now it has become a museum. Across them is the Sultan Mehmed, who conquered Constantinople and converted into Istanbul, was his palace. Now it has got the entrance is the first courtyard, the second courtyard, the third courtyard, and the fourth courtyard, which I'm going to take you across there. Now here where we are standing here, and this is the entrance where we are standing. Just bear with me. So here we are standing here, and this portion is again the justice and the imperial court. The wazirs and the justice was given. This is a kitchen which made food, which I'm going to show you. And this is the third courtyard, where this is the library, and these chambers which are being made were made for boys who were given education to become future wazirs. And this is the Harem. This portion is the Harem, where the females were trained to become manners and religion and everything. They were brought from different parts of the country to do it. And this is the third courtyard where the Sultan relaxed. And then there is a sea, and then Istanbul on the other side. It was very strategically made, very one. And I'm going to show you another model of it, which will give you a better picture of this. Now, what I showed you earlier of the whole thing. Now this is the entrance, and if you see, this is where I'm standing, the court, and then you can see the kitchen on the other side. This is the second courtyard, and this courtyard, the entrance from this courtyard, which is known as Salutation, basically only the Sultan could enter in a horse back, whereas the rest wazirs and the assistants and everybody had to walk into it. Again, this portion is the imperial the one which I did explain you earlier, but I'm just giving you a quick look of the Topkapi. It's a huge, beautiful place to be. If somebody says that you can see this whole thing in an hour or two, it takes a lot of time. So enjoy the trip which I take you. This is the second courtyard of the Topkapi Castle, and this is the entrance, the Felicity. Now in this entrance is only the Sultan entered, and always used this door to come out of this thing. And across this is the kitchen. Now this kitchen during the time of Sultan used to prepare food 3 times for 3,000 people, and during the festival period did it around 5,000 people. So in the second courtyard was there. Again on this, if you can see, the Harem is on the left hand side, and the palace kitchen was on the right hand side. And this was the door used by during Islamic religious occasions. The Sultan came out. Now this portion, which basically has become was also a part of the religion of justice. Here the Sultan ensured that all the people who were here had justice, and that was one of the key aspects of the Sultan's success there. So that's where the qazis, the judges, used to sit there, and his wazirs used to come here to make policies and all of that section. So this is what it is, and then it took place here. Entrance of the imperial council, where the justice was provided. The consuls was sitting here. The wazir sat here. A beautiful structure has been raised, but it was destroyed, and many things have been removed from here. But after restoration, this is what we can see. That's the original pillar, but which maintains the entire structure. So the wazir and the justice, which the judge and the qazis used to sit here. An excellent form of architecture can be seen, and it is something which intrigues. But obviously they made sure that to make the kingdom, the empire stronger, justice has to be prevailed, and every person in the kingdom needed justice. So yeah, this is the harem, where the females, the princess and the queen, they used to stay of the sultan. This was even an educational center for females to come here and study. In front of this third courtyard is the library where they were being taught, and that was a dormitory which basically was made for boys from different parts, being bought here. They were bought from Europe, they were bought from Turkey, and the Sultan had a very strong mindset of developing the coming generation. So on this section, they wanted to develop younger boys to study, who could become wazirs and assistant wazirs to run the country and advise. A library and a place where the harem, where females from different parts of the country and Europe and were brought here. They were trained and kept and was considered as the harem. The concept seems to be very good, because Sultan wanted to control his kingdom and not have any issues. So he wanted to develop people in running the system. So he had females educated, trained, and on the other side the males being trained. An excellent concept which he kept it in the palace. So the philosophy was really excellent, developing the future generations. The Ottomans were very keen about education, which I told you earlier, and this is the library which I'm entering. The other side, I did tell you, is for the boys for training institution school, and that was the female side. But now that motion has been used for putting Islamic relics over there. This is the cultural library where young boys who were brought in were trained, and the Ottomans' first century, Ottomans' first half of the 18th century was the one which all these sultans who came here were interested in the education part, and they have built this library for teaching purposes, taking them to the next level, the new generation. They were more keen about the new generations being developed, and that is what it is. Beautiful. This is something which is present in all the tombs which are there. Very attractive. The carving, they're quite beautiful. Time for young kids or even the people to come here. And third courtyard, because it has got 4 courtyards altogether, and this was the kind of a courtyard which Topkapi Palace has been divided into. So the fourth one is more for relaxing purposes, but this was meant for the education purposes of them. Let me take you inside. These are fountains which have been kept, one here and one inside, by the Sultan, so that when he talked with his people confidentially, people could not hear his voice. And that is what he has done. If you enter, this was the chamber where the Sultan basically had a conversation with his people, and that is where he sat, ceremonial golden throne, where he sat and had a conversation with a large with his wazirs and his his advisors who used to work for him. And then again, this is another fountain which basically started so that people could not hear his conversation and stayed confidential. So they already had strategies, and this was in the third courtyard. This is the original wall, but some of them have been made later. But this is the garden, the end of the fourth courtyard of the Sultan. And from here, because now there is a tree, but he could see the Sina River there. This is one of the chaos, the courtyard of the Sultan, where basically he had a pool for relaxation purposes. And this is in the fourth courtyard, which basically brings it. And if you look across, you can see this city, and this is where he sat there. So it's beautiful. It has got a lot of history and shows you the beautiful city across where he ruled. This is the Baghdadi chaos, and then there are many kinds of chaos here. And this is the point where the end of with a beautiful lush garden, and those walls which you see are obviously Turkey has got a lot of masjids across, and you'll find them all. This is one of those chaos where the Sultan used to sit, and is known as the Pasha Pavilion, where he used to meet and relax. This was his relaxing area there. This is one of the places where the Sultan sat with his wazir for relaxation purposes and with his family. So there are various kinds of these pavilions, small ones made, and they must have been made by various sultans who ruled, because they were around here for 400 years. And that's a chimney for making it hot, because obviously things tell Istanbul highest score. But excellent architecture is been there. Designs are excellent, made with marble, and these designs, which you look at it, some of them are from Persia, Europe, and you'll find various aspects which are being there for this purpose. So it's these chaos. There are many chaos of these in the Topkapi Palace, but they are all excellent and worthwhile watching and visiting. So showing you there are a lot of chaos here, and this is another pavilion they had. This is basically a chimney to make everything hot, and the Sultan used to sit here for relaxation purpose, and that is where he sat. And it's beautifully designed, made, but this was not made by one Sultan. They're different. They ruled for 400 years, so every Sultan came here and did his work. And this is known as the Baghdadi Pavilion. These are the original types. They were made in around 1500 century, so they're 700 years old. They've been protected by a glass floor, and you can see them. So this is the originality of the stuff which you can see. This is the view outside the Sultan's palace, the fourth courtyard, and this is where he could have stood and seen the Istanbul, which he had conquered and converted Constantinople into Istanbul. So yep, and at the far end you can see the flag. I'm at the end of the Topkapi Palace, and from the courtyard, which we have it here, which is the end, you can see a garden, and you can see the entire Istanbul. And the tower which you see on the top is the telecommunication, and the mosque. It is the largest mosque in Istanbul. So that we will cover later. And that part is where Istanbul is the technical side when the Sultan made it the palace, because he needed the sea to be used, and he could keep an eye on his kingdom. Basically was something when excavation happened, a digging thing was found, and it's been kept in the museum. In the end of the fourth courtyard in Topkapi, there are artifacts. They have been sold, and this looks like this is a Topkapi dagger, which I've talked about, which was given by Nadir Shah. So yes, you can buy things here in this store for different prices. So it's more like things which people buy for the We have completed the Topkapi Palace. I hope you have enjoyed. But now I'm going to take to more other destinations in Istanbul, which you'll be able to see. We are out. Thank you.